Good morning, America. Today our main topic will be about how the U.S. turned Japan into a democracy, as well as their allies after World War II, also known as the Reconstruction of Japan, from 1945 to 1952.
The U.S. impacted Japan positively during their Reconstruction post-World War II by helping them rebuild into a powerful democracy, learning their mistake after Germany was punished in World War I, and it created a culturally convergent U.S. impacted Japan positively during their Reconstruction post-World War II by helping rebuild them into a powerful democracy. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked the U.S. military base Pearl Harbor, starting the conflict between Japan and the U.S. The very next day, Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war against Japan, bringing the U.S. into World War II. Throughout the years, attacks were exchanged between the two countries, with the war finally ending when the U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs on the civilian cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan finally surrendered on September 2, 1945, to the U.S. superpower. Afterwards, the United States occupied and rebuilt Japan, spreading their democratic ideals, improving their education system, and skyrocketing their economy. At the same time, MacArthur promoted the development of democracy in Japan. He suspended Japanese laws, restricting political, civil, and religious liberties. This evidence shows that the U.S. sent leaders who were in charge of the Supreme Commander of the Allied Powers, SCAP, who helped Japan adopt a new constitution that gave them more rights than their previous government, which means that the United States helped Japan overcome monarchy and into democracy. Apart from controlled trade, the U.S. provided large amounts of humanitarian and economic aid to Japan, amounting to a cumulative $1.95 billion during 1946 to 1950. This evidence explains how the United States provided money when Japan was economically not able to pay for the reconstruction of the cities when shortages were most severe and living standards were the lowest in 1946, a year after the end of the war, which shows that the U.S. came to Japan's aid to increase shortages of food and consumer goods. During the occupation, a major change in Japanese society occurred when Japan's educational system was completely. This evidence explains that Japan was able to urbanize and build its economy with the assist of the U.S. after the war that led to the two countries being enemies. Now, on to our OPCVL Vanita Ishwara.
Thanks, Zarya. The event being analyzed is how the United States positively impacted Japan during the Reconstruction post-World War II. This source assists my investigation because it breaks down the thoughts and plans of the general to reconstruct Japan to the best of their ability. Also, General MacArthur has learned from history that the United States should help other countries rebuild to prevent a revolution similar to World War I to occur again. The source that will be analyzed is a letter sent to Prime Minister of Japan. This is a primary source written by the General Douglas MacArthur. General MacArthur wrote this letter to Prime Minister Yoshida. MacArthur helped reconstruct Japan's government. He is valuable since he has won many awards and was the top of his class in the academy that he was in. He also experienced the Reconstruction firsthand and will have a lot more details than anyone else. However, given that he's an American, a downside to him writing this is that he is biased towards the United States. Also, he doesn't really mention giving Japan a choice and if they want to be democratic or not. This letter was written on June 6, 1950. Which is helpful since it is during the Reconstruction. Also, it will have more accurate and relevant information. This is a limitation because you don't get to hear about the long-term effects of the Reconstruction to really see if the U.S. was a good help. This is being written by the general to assist and rebuild the Japanese country, economy, and government. He is sending this to inform the Japanese Prime Minister about changes being made. This is beneficial because it shows that the U.S. and other allied nations are helping to reconstruct Japan. According to the letter, it seems like the U.S. is taking charge. The downside to this is that the Prime Minister won't get to hear anything negative about getting the U.S.'s help since the general is biased towards the U.S. The United States is trying to persuade Japan that they only mean to help after causing all of that damage. In the letter, General MacArthur mentions democratization is for their protection, not punishment. This is valuable because you get a clear view of the goal to build a better relationship with Japan. MacArthur has a positive perspective towards the Reconstruction. Finally, MacArthur was motivated to talk about getting rid of non-democratic people, because he believes that is the way to become strong and successful. The limitation to this is that he is biased towards Democrats, which is why he wants to remove non-Democrats as he sees them as danger. Also, this could have been a problem since some Japanese people may not want to become democratic. Thanks for watching, and now let's see Havla, the political cartoon.
In this political cartoon, you can see a construction worker fixing his blueprints to improve the buildings he is creating. Behind him are buildings that failed and were destroyed. The construction worker symbolizes the U.S., and the blueprints represent Japan being rebuilt. The demolished buildings represent Germany and their reaction towards reparations after World War I. The message conveyed is that after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, the U.S. was able to reflect back from Germany's reaction towards reparations from the Treaty of Versailles and decided to help Japan grow into a powerful and democratic country. And now back to Catherine.